The issue of the trafficking of women and children into sexual slavery is an emotional one. The trade is monitored by governments, non-government organizations, and even charities. And what person wouldn't put his hand in his pocket to get some extra cash to help put an end to this appalling trade? But in Thailand, there's controversy over an Australian charity called the Greyman. The Greyman claims that its ex-Special Forces members have rescued 23 Akha hill tribe children and saved them from certain slavery or sexual exploitation. Well, we all know this trade goes on, but what happened in this case? I travelled to northern Thailand to find out. An Akha hill tribe village in northern Thailand wakes up for another day. But today villagers in Ban Kun Sui are preparing for the arrival of a delegation to ask them about their newfound infamy. According to reports in Australia, 21 children have been involved in a dramatic rescue and saved from being sold into sexual slavery. All these children, here being led by members of an anti-trafficking watchdog, are, according to media reports, allegedly being hidden in a secret safe house. Members of the Australian charity The Greyman, who describe themselves as either ex-Special Forces or police, claimed that one rescued 13-year-old girl was even raped by a policeman before being sent back to a brothel. The story is plausible. It's happened before, and The Greyman placed pictures of the children on their Facebook page and then appealed for cash to keep them out of the hands of the traffickers. On The Greyman's own website, 3 of the Greymen, blacked out even more than the alleged victims, posed with a group of 18 of them. To some public acclaim, they say they chased off traffickers in the jungles of northern Thailand, and now these children are receiving education in safety. But these very same children say they've never left their homes, and they've never stayed at a safe house, and they go to school just as they did before. Puzzled by 2 totally contradictory stories, I travelled to Ban Kun Sui by 4-wheel drive. It's a 5-hour trip, starting from the northern capital of Chiang Mai and into the Hua Wei district of Chiang Rai. And the last part is on a rough and winding dirt track. The villagers here rarely wear their ornate Akha costumes, and their satellite dishes scoop up Thai TV. While all hill tribe villages are poor, Ban Kun Sui is prosperous compared to many. They produce and package Chinese and Indian tea. Their Hua Wei coffee brand is popular all over Thailand and sustains a national chain of coffee shops. All families contribute to a village fund, and from fast-flowing streams they even produce their own electricity. Their monthly electricity payments, usually no more than $2 or $3, go to the fund too. They have their own primary school, and older children go into the Thai government special school, which provides not only education, but also lunch and school books. The village headman is angry at the latest allegations. They have brought shame on the village, he says.
แต่ตอนนี้ผมก็เป็นผู้นำชุมชนนี่ก็รู้สึกเสียใจที่ว่าเหตุเกิดขึ้นเนี่ยคือไม่เป็นความจริงเพราะว่าเด็กทุกคนอยู่ครบอยู่ในหมู่บ้านครบทุกคนนะครับไม่มีการไปค้าขายประเวณีใดๆทั้งสิ้นนะครับ
Farmer Jaimuk Laisai said that the boss of a charity called the Children of Southeast Asia, or COSA, brought the Greymen to the village and arranged for pictures to be taken. COSA's boss Mickey had been on Thai television to blame the Australian press for the row over the alleged abuse of these pictures.
ขณะที่เจ้าของมูลนิธิปฏิเสธว่าไม่ได้เรียกรับผลประโยชน์หรือขอรับบริจาคแต่ยอมรับว่ามูลนิธิของเขาอยู่ระหว่างการขอจดทะเบียน
รูปภาพที่ได้ไปเนี่ยเป็น confiscate ไปแล้วอีกอย่างนึงคือว่ามีคนหนึ่งเนี่ยนักข่าวทางออสเตรเลียเนี่ยเอารูปนั้นไปแล้วไปพลิกแพลงเกี่ยวกับการ information ไปเรื่องนี้ผมไม่แต่พูดถึงว่าเอาชื่อผมไปใส่ด้วยเนี่ยมันเสียหาย
มีฝรั่งชาวออสเตรเลียเข้ามาในหมู่บ้าน3 คนมากับคุณมิกกี้แล้วก็ว่าจะมาช่วยเหลือเด็กในหมู่บ้าน
แล้วก็ถามว่าจะในหมู่บ้านเนี่ยจะให้เขาช่วยเหลืออะไรไม่มีการพูดถึงว่าเรื่องการค้าประเวณีเพียงแต่ว่าจะมาช่วยเหลือด้านการศึกษากับด้านอนามัยในหมู่บ้าน
Duan Wongsa from Trafcord, the Trafficking Coordination Unit of Northern Thailand, asked some of the younger victims for their views.
ค่ะกับเรื่องเหตุการณ์ที่เกิดขึ้นเนี่ยพวกเรารู้สึกยังไงบ้างคะ
ก็รู้สึกไม่ดีนะคะที่ได้เห็นว่ามีการค้ามนุษย์อย่างเงี้ยค่ะก็คือว่าอยากให้แก้เขาอย่างเงี้ยค่ะมันไม่เป็นความจริงเลยค่ะ
เสียใจครับที่เขาทำไม่ดีต่อพวกเรา
เสียใจที่เขาทำไม่ดีกับพวกเรา
ทำไม่ดี
เราอยากบอกอะไรกับคนที่ดูสารคดีข่าวตรงนี้บ้างคะ
คือว่ามันไม่เป็นความจริงอย่างที่เห็นเนี่ยค่ะคืออยากให้แก้ข่าวด่วนเลยค่ะคือว่าอยู่ที่โรงเรียนเพื่อนล้อใหญ่เลยค่ะก็เลยอยากให้แก้ข่าว
But the Greyman charity says that these youngsters are not free to talk. They've been intimidated. And the Thai authorities and aid groups in Chiang Mai are angry because the Greyman is exposing their own failures. But back in the northern capital, the anti-trafficking group Trafcord has protested about the use of the children's photographs in connection with what they say was a baseless story. And Duan Wongsa was concerned about Koza's involvement.
รูปภาพนี้ถูกถ่ายโดยองค์กรเจ้าหน้าที่จากองค์กรเอกชนแห่งหนึ่งชื่อว่าโคซาโดยคนที่ถ่ายภาพก็คือคนที่ชื่อคุณมิกกี้ซึ่งได้เข้าไปติดต่อกับคนในชุมชนบอกว่าเขาต้องการทำโครงการสนับสนุนเกี่ยวกับเรื่องการศึกษาและก็เรื่องสุขภาพของเด็กๆในชุมชนนี้เขาจึงได้ไปติดต่อจากนั้นผู้ใหญ่บ้านเนี่ยก็ได้เรียกเด็กทั้งหมดมารวมกันและให้คุณมิกกี้ถ่ายภาพเด็กโดยคุณมิกกี้เนี่ยก็บอกว่าจะถ่ายภาพเพื่อเอาไปประกอบเป็นเอกสารในการที่จะหางบประมาณมาช่วยเหลือเด็กๆ
Ben Svasti, the executive director of Trafcord, was the person who linked with the Greyman. When did you hear about the alleged rescue?
The first we heard about this rescue was about a week after it happened, when I got an email from John Curtis, the president of Greyman, reporting this and saying that, well, he was apologetic at first because he felt he should have involved Trafcord and he didn't, but it had been an emergency so he couldn't. But it was a very exciting, dramatic account of a rescue. And our immediate impression was, hey, we want to work with these guys, we want to work with this case. The children are very young indeed. There's an element that maybe Thai police were alleged to have been involved in the rape of one of them. We wanted to be working with Greyman on this case. Straight away, 3 days later, I got an email back from the Greyman, from John Curtis, a very embarrassed in tone email, saying that he just checked with his guys and there'd been a big mistake. This rescue just had never happened, and that the whole thing had been misrepresented by the Australian press. They got their facts wrong.
So did you do your own inquiry on this?
Well, yes, but of course we immediately tried to check with the sources, every website that had this story up there, and it came back to the fact that very clearly the original press release came from the Greyman office.
Ben, at one stage, the Greyman seemed to turn against you. How did that happen?
What they were saying in the last email was that they reckoned that the community was being intimidated, that the children were being intimidated, and that they did not dare tell the truth to any outside agency.
Thailand's Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, which has an office in Chiang Mai City Hall, is currently investigating the incident. Rosakun Taria is the local officer investigating the case. So what can the ministry do in this case?
สำนักงานพัฒนาสังคมและความมั่นคงของมนุษย์จังหวัดเชียงใหม่ด้วยในการที่จะเข้าไปดูแลในส่วนของสิทธิของเด็กแล้วก็ในส่วนของดูว่าจะเป็นการแสวงประโยชน์จากเด็กหรือไม่ซึ่งดูจากกรณีที่เกิดขึ้นเนี่ยคงจะต้องนำเอากฎหมายพรบคุ้มครองเด็กนะคะ Child Protection Act คิดว่าอันนี้เป็นหน้าที่ของ เด็กทั้งหมดเนี่ยที่อยู่ในภาพเนี่ยก็ยังมีความเป็นอยู่ที่ปกติ
And how have these children been exploited?
ก็อยู่ในชุมชนที่มีการดูแลนะคะมีผู้นำชุมชนมีพ่อแม่ผู้ปกครองดูแลอยู่นะคะไม่ได้ตกเป็นเหยื่อของการค้ามนุษย์นะคะ
The children seem upset, the village leaders seem upset, the anti-trafficking groups seem upset, and the ministry seems upset. So I put the allegations to the Greyman and Koza. Koza operates from this shelter, Ban Yu Suk, on the outskirts of Chiang Mai. The charity's boss, Mickey Chutiza, admitted supplying the pictures to the Greyman, but refused to talk about the alleged rescue as he worked together with the Greyman.
I admit it, yeah, we do work together through Mosaic, medical outreach. No one talk about that. Okay. They do helping us with the medical outreach and through education and prevention. They're helping us that. But if we talk about the rescue of the 22 kids and all that, I think I'll let the law and legal that dealing with that.
I caught up with John Curtis on the phone, but he said it would not move things forward if he went on camera. What's the score on this? I mean, obviously, there doesn't appear to have been a rescue.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Okay, you've got a good reputation as far as I'm concerned. I've spoken to other people about you. We're not in the habit of lying about what we do.
We spoke for over half an hour, but the two versions of the rescue were irreconcilable, and John Curtis, as any ex-Special Forces man might do, played the secrecy card.
If you paint us as being a bunch of scammers who, pretended to rescue kids just so we could make millions and billions of baht, as they said on that TV program, then so be it. We're willing to wear it.
No, John, I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm sure, looking at the history of the Greyman, you have very good intentions. It just looks to me, and the evidence to me at the moment seems that this rescue appears to have been hyped. That the rescue didn't take place. I mean, if it's true, that would be the biggest rescue of kids in Thailand for years, and in fact, these kids represent most of the teenage population of that small community. And what we'd be saying is that that community was willing to get rid of all its kids into the sex trade.
Yeah, but what you don't understand is that those kids aren't even from that community. Look,
well, then we found them all in the community within a few minutes of our arrival. Well, I've just received an email overnight from John Curtis, the president of the Greyman, and he says that, well, to protect the children, he would rather I went with the story to say that this was a press release which went badly wrong. One day he said he'd hoped to take me up to Chiang Mai himself, see the children, and prove that his story was true, and thus his organisation would indeed be vindicated. But that may not be possible. Chiang Mai police are carrying out an investigation into possible breaches of the Child Protection and Computer Crime Acts. And local organisations in the northern Thai capital say they have no doubts that the rescue was all a hoax.
I think it's very unfortunate because human trafficking is still a problem in northern Thailand, and we still need a lot of help from international agencies, from the international community. But it doesn't help one little bit if one agency starts to misrepresent the facts and raise funds on false premises.